Welcome once again to another HBR Mind Your Business spot. And today we're interviewing Moira.
Mora.
Mora, I'm sorry. I keep adding the
That's
I.
fine.
So we're interviewing Mora Rivas, right? And to Moira, you do immigration servicing, right?
Correct.
So I guess let's jump into the first question, right? So why are you an immigration service specialist?
What motivated me was my parents. My parents are from Mexico, originally from Mexico, and I know what they went through to adjust their status in the United States. So I was like, wow, like obviously I'm Hispanic as well myself. I'm from Mexico, so I know how hard it is to adjust your status in the United States. So I wanted to be that one person that people could come to and be like, hey, like I feel like at home, like I feel like you'll be able to help me. I don't have to deal with scamming people that can, like, hey, they'll offer you the moon and the stars, but you get nowhere. So that's what I'm here for. I'm honest with my clients. And
that's funny because I was the family, I guess immigration service person for a long time. Everybody always came to me and asked me for questions.
Yeah.
Hey, how do you feel this? How do you feel that? Is that how you got into it?
Exactly.
They came up to you and say, hey, how do you feel this out? And
yeah.
you
Well,
figured
actually,
it out.
I've been working with lawyers for like 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was their legal assistant for them. Obviously, the lawyers, all they do is give out the consultation and then here, do the work. So I was the one in the back doing all the work, filling out the paperwork. And then once the people will receive the green card, the lawyer will be the one that shines. But they would never know that it's us in the back doing the paperwork.
Yeah. So that's something that you just explained to me right now that I did not know. You do not need an attorney
Correct.
to fill out your paperwork.
Correct.
Can
Yeah, you don't. For immigration, you don't need an attorney unless you have a criminal record. You will obviously need an attorney to represent you in court to see what your options are, having a criminal record. But if you are clean and you have no type of criminal record, you've never had problems with the law, then you don't need an attorney. You can just,
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this: what drives you to do this? Because this is a very niche a service that you offer here. What drives you, or what motivates you, or what makes you want to do this?
What makes me want to do it is the outcome. The outcome. I love hearing my clients call me, telling me like, hey, like, for example, today I just had a client call me today that they're not gonna get interviewed. Like, imagine I have clients that have to wait. It's a period of time. Immigration is a process. It's a whole process. So you could be waiting 3 to 4 years and you'll get a notification in your email like, hey, you don't have to get interviewed. You're going straight to the resident card. So I had a client call me today like, hey, my interview was canceled. They're just going to mail me the card. She doesn't even have to get interviewed. So she was nervous for these last 2 months. She kept telling me like, hey, like, are you going to come with me to the interview? Like, how is it going to be? I was like, no, just calm down. Everything should be fine. Hopefully they you don't have to go through an interview. And that's what happened today. She checked her USCIS account and they cancel her interview. She's going straight to the resident card.
That's really awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to go to the interview. They get scared because you're going to get interviewed by 2 immigration officers. So they automatically think like, if I say the wrong thing, I'm going to get deported. So whenever the interview gets canceled, to them it's like, wow, like straight to the resident card. It's rare when that happens.
So something interesting, right? That, I've spoken to you a few times. You've already mentioned about 3 times, and not just in this interview. Earlier, I heard you say the same thing, right? That you enjoy and you like whenever people get permission to go back to Mexico. People get their
that's the best
status.
part of my job. I feel like there's people that I work with that haven't been to Mexico in over 25 years. So for me to be able to be the one that helps them go back to their country and see their family, it's just, I don't know. I feel like I feel like I just bought a home. Like I get that feeling like, wow, like seeing them cry, seeing their daughters or kids or husband, and then I feel like I'm part of the family. It's just, I don't know, it's a feeling that I can't explain. I feel like that's how maybe it will feel when I get to buy my first home. But when my clients call me and they're like, hey, we just got the green card, or hey, my work permit, I just got my work permit, or it's an awesome feeling. So I love the feeling.
That's more rewarding than the actual what you charge.
Yeah,
for your fee.
I feel like the best part is whenever they get their stuff, the feeling.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Obviously, you were born with some great traits. What traits were you born with that really help you, do this service?
Honestly, the reason why I started this is because I myself had to go through that whole process.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I wasn't legal here. I came here with my parents when I was a little baby. I was barely 3 years old. I was 3 years old. Unfortunately, I crossed the border with my parents, and I know how hard it was for my parents to be able to fix our papers. Like, I went through the whole process. So just like the people that come to me, it's basically something that I went through just like them. So that's why I want to help, because I'm like, I was there once, I was in their shoes.
So, who contributed the most to the success that we see now to this,
My
to where you're at?
parents.
Your parents?
My parents, yeah. I feel like watching my parents see what they went through whenever they had to obviously legalize their status. That's what motivated me. That was like, wow, like I want to be able to help people like my parents and me.
So shout out your parents. Go ahead.
Shout out to my mom and my dad. I love you. Shout out to my mom Laura and my dad Juan, because if it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be here, honestly.
Yeah.
So my dad was the one that actually pushed me to do it, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Dad, I'm just gonna go to. Actually, before I opened my offices, I had another lawyer. She wanted me to go work for her. She wanted me to handle her office in the immigration department, and it was either take that like chance or just start my own office. So I was in between, do it now or do it never. My dad was like, no, do your own thing. And then
So you took a chance on
I
yourself.
took a chance, and now I have my second. In less than a month, I opened my second office.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So let me ask you this: if Hollywood came knocking on your door and wanted to know your story, right? Pitch me your story like you're pitching it to a room full of people who are gonna make your movie.
I feel like it would be. I feel like my movie would be very emotional because, of course, like I said, my story does start for me crossing the border with my parents, and I feel like I would make sure that's the main part of the movie, because obviously that's what's gonna make people wanna, wow, like if she can do it, we can do it.
That's awesome. Okay. So let me ask you this: if well, I guess you already told me, right? Who helped you, who pushed you, who motivated you, right? But if you think about it, why did you start this company? Like, what was the defining moment that said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start this.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it was the last job that I had. My old boss, she always told me, don't be scared of success, and I'm never gonna forget her for that, because of that, I'm where I'm at now. She basically was that one push as well.
So that's the one that turned on that switch. And
Yeah,
made
she
you
would always,
like,
basically, I would always be in, well, not always, but whenever I did have the chance to talk to her, she would be the one to give me that advice. Like, hey, like, like, you're so young, like, you know a lot. What you know can benefit you a lot. That's why you're working here with us. Like, stick with us and you'll eventually be, like, on top. And she would basically always give me advice.
Great advice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So was she like your mentor, or was she like your...
You can say, I mean, she was my boss, but she was sometimes a friend as well.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. So now you know a lot of, I mean, what we read about a lot of business moguls. If you can model your company after a business mogul, what business mogul would you choose to model after?
That's a good question.
And it doesn't have to be anybody super famous. It could also be, somebody locally, just somebody that you just admire and you're like, you know what, I would like to take those steps and follow that route.
I actually, if you want me to be honest with you, I don't have anybody.
Really?
No, I don't. I feel like it's very, I don't know if it's just or maybe I haven't done my research. Maybe there is somebody that I want to look up to, because obviously I there's always going to be that one person that I'm like, wow, I want to be like her. But most of the time they're lawyers, so or attorneys. I can't compare myself to them, so.
Did you ever think about going to law school?
I did think about going to law school, but fun fact.
You have a conscience?
Yeah. My old boss, she was actually not a lawyer. And she had this, like, when I'm telling you, she's literally about to hit $1 million a month without the degree. It's like, wow, like,
yeah, Well, maybe that's your business mogul.
And I did try getting the paralegal degree. But when I was getting advice from people to take the paralegal class and do all of that, they were like, no, like, they're not going to teach you immigration. You're only going to learn about divorce, family law. So you're just going to pay for the certificate to have it hanging on your wall. If you want to do it, spend the money, go ahead, but it's not going to benefit in your business at all. So I'm just like, wow. So then what course can I take to have something on my wall? I want people to come in and see something on the wall, but it's you don't need anything. You basically don't need any of that. You just need the knowledge.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Was there ever a time, right, man, and I'm sure there's more than one, because you deal with so many people, right, that you're helping, that need help, right? that you ever caught yourself so lost and so caught up in your work and in your job that you just lost yourself, lost sight of what what you were doing for yourself?
I feel like there hasn't never been. I mean, honestly, no, because I don't think so, because whenever you do immigration services, there's a very long period of time to be able to get to touch the case again. Like, let's say you're done with the case, so you have a very like a wait time of 2 to 3 years. So you can always just move on to
Next one.
next one, because you're not gonna see this case, or you're not gonna hear about them from until like 2 3 years or 5 years from now, maybe even 10 years depending on the case that
Really?
you do. Yeah, immigration there's a super like long wait. It's not like you go apply and you get your work permit in a week. No, it's usually takes up to 5 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I think we already talked about a little bit, right? It's every entrepreneur has a weakness, right? What do you think your weakness is as an entrepreneur, or that
I don't think I have a weakness. I tried brainstorming, thinking about a weakness, and I don't think I have any weakness.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's interesting, well, not interesting, but I think the thing is that you live in the moment, and you're always just on top of things. So it's tough for you to even sit back and think about a mogul. I want to be like weaknesses. I don't have time for that.
Exactly.
I'm too busy
And I
doing
have
this.
to really be focused on what I'm doing. I don't have time to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is very important paperwork. One little thing that I mess up, imagine their green card coming in with a different name, different type of.
3 years later.
3 years later, and they're all the
Wow.
time they waited for the name to come out wrong, or date of birth. It has happened to me, but thank God I know how to fix it. So don't worry. Yeah, there's always if you know how to do the paperwork, you'll figure it out.
All right. So thank you for being on this show, and also
Thank you for having me.
Look in the camera and tell everybody where they can find you, your Instagram handle, and.
So you guys can find me on Instagram at Mora Immigration Services, and on Facebook the same thing, Mora Immigration Services, and you guys can call me for a consultation. They're completely free.
Thank you. Cut. That's a good one.